Hi, welcome to. Here we are. Hey, Rachel. Here we are. It is cocktail hour.
Woo! There's so much to talk about. You are driving, so no drinking for you. But I'm back again.
What do you got there?
It is a sour ale raspberry.
Oh, sour ale raspberry. What's that? Sounds good.
Same beer we had last week.
Yeah, I can't do the drinking tonight, unfortunately. As
you're going down the Nuggets, right? Right before they're going to trade for Kevin Durant, and everything's going to be so happy and healthy here.
Is that what they're going to do? You want to get into that right off the bat?
I don't think that that's exactly what they're going to do, but I think they're going to not do anything. I think they're going to stay put. But I know everybody's like, Kevin Durant.
We talked about it a lot today on the radio show, that's for sure. You know, well, I would like to see it here. I just got to get this. Oh, the camera.
You're okay with saying peace out, MPJ?
Not really. You know, we had Michael Porter Jr. On the radio show yesterday. It was awesome. He was really cool.
That clip is so good of him. He is just such a thoughtful individual.
Don't you think?
Oh, like 10 out of 10 person. He's great.
Yeah. Hey, I got to adjust something really quick. Really quick. In fact, I'm not even going to take I got to just... You know,
I'm so curious what he's doing.
Well, it's a little. I got to admit, it's a little warm. It's just kind of a hot day.
News. Warriors acquiring Jimmy Butler from the Heat.
Whoa, that's coming out right now.
Just came out. Dang.
Wow. Well, let's see what else is involved here.
Jimmy Butler, such a pain in the ass.
There was a documentary.
Oh my gosh.
What's that?
For Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick. Good Lord.
Wow.
Golden State really is trying to do absolutely whatever they can to get the most out of Steph Curry's years.
Oh, there's some other stuff, too. The Wizards trading Valanciunas, he said, to the Kings for Kosoko. That's a low-level deal. Yeah. Knicks expected to trade Jericho Sims. Okay, that's low level. The big news is obviously Kevin Durant. So I don't know if if you were to trade Christian Brown and Michael Porter Jr. and Julian Strawther for Kevin Durant and some other add-on or something, and your starting lineup is Russell Westbrook, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, and Kevin Durant, with Peyton Watson, I guess, coming off the bench and whatever scrap heap other things you can get. How do you think that team would do?
Good. I'm one of those people, I hate breaking up the core of a championship team. I know you have to do it. You have to move on. You have to find other pieces. I just absolutely despise doing that. So the idea of breaking up any of them, and I know that they already did that, obviously, with letting KCP walk. But if I had to bring back any player right now to play with this Nuggets team, I would probably bring back KCP, which sounds crazy. So I don't know. I always struggle with those thoughts of that topic of, okay, let's bring in some of these players, these bigger names, and add them into the mix. But I also wasn't on board to bring in Russell Westbrook, and now
he's been great. And he's been great.
Massive fan of him, so I feel like I get a little I don't want the drama, I don't want the diva to come in, and sometimes I ignore the play of what's happening actually on the court.
Yeah, it's no, don't trade CB. It's
Agreed.
I mean, okay. Listen, the decision that has to be made, and tonight could be a wild night with news. You never know, right? And tomorrow the deadline ends at 1:00.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you have to look in the mirror. Is this our team? Is this good enough to win? Because the Nuggets are in this window with Jokic, where the only thing acceptable is a roster good enough to win a championship this year.
Yeah.
He was just named the Western Conference Player of the Month. His numbers are ludicrous. He's having arguably his best season ever because his three-point shooting is up, which is crazy to think that there's something he could get better at. And that a 7-footer from Serbia, that's what he gets better at, and by quite a bit. It's really remarkable how amazing he is. So with this window, Rach, I mean, the question is just, is this team good enough to win as constituted? Does this give us our best shot in this window with Jokic. And so what if you sell out for this year and next year, frankly, because how many window years are you going to have with Jokic?
My thing is not is this team good enough? Is this team consistently good enough to be able to do it? And it feels like we're on this constant roller coaster all the time with the Nuggets and both the apps, frankly. It's like you have the stars, you have that talent there, but can you be consistently good? Or do you need more help off of the bench? Like, is it guys on the bench or is it the stars just not being the stars? Is it Jamal not playing Jamal numbers and not having, I don't want to get myself in trouble, but I just feel like
no, you're fine.
Some of those guys, you're just like, what are you doing? Like you have to be the stars, and I just feel like we don't always see that from those guys.
Well, it was hard to predict that Russell Westbrook would be this good, frankly, and this meaningful to the team. Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, he didn't come in as a starter. He came in off the bench. Just start there, right?
It's also Russell Westbrook, and it's totally about fit too. He clearly was not happy with the Lakers. That was made very, very apparent.
You know what's funny? I was talking to Scott Hastings about this, and what he says is the only team really that people talk serious shit about Russell Westbrook is with the Lakers. That on all of his other stops, he's actually pretty highly regarded. It's only with the Lakers that it was like bad. So, so there's that.
Can I just get your immediate reaction for the Luka trade? Were you like, what is going on?
I'm still in conspiracy mode because, I mean, why? How? You got to be kidding me. So, like, everybody was stunned by it. He's turning 26 at the very end of February. Yeah. He's in the prime of his career, although he's a little hurt now, but he'll be better, obviously.
Yeah.
It's one of two things. There's maybe three things. One, the owners, because Mark Cuban does not own a majority share anymore. He sold that off. He's still part of the team, but he doesn't have decision-making ability. So
by the way, huge Mark Cuban fan. Like
what's that?
Such a cool dude. Huge Mark Cuban fan.
Yeah, listen, he made his money. He got out, I mean, he's made tons on everything. So, he's just off to do different things. He didn't want to be there full time, but he wanted a good seat at the game. So that's what he's got. So, so Brian Windhorst from ESPN said, everybody's telling the truth, meaning everybody was shocked by this, aside from Pelinka, the GM of the Lakers, and probably Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Lakers, and, of course, the ownership of the Mavs. Even the general manager of the Mavs wasn't in on this thing. Crazy, right? Crazy.
My favorite part of this story, and also to everybody in the comments, yes, we did see the Jimmy Butler trade to the Warriors. We can get into that in a second, but just real quick, is the fact that they were telling the Lakers to stay hush-hush on this. And I'm like, well, no shit. Of course they're going to stay hush-hush. They don't want any other team to get even a lip of information that this trade could go down, because then you're getting other phone calls. Like, the whole thing is just weird.
Yeah, for the record, I didn't want Jimmy Butler here. Okay? I that's fine by me.
Do you want Kevin Durant? I thought Kevin Durant was supposed to come save the day in Phoenix.
Do I want Kevin Durant?
Do you want Kevin Durant over MPJ? Start there.
Personally, no. However, every basketball person I talk to says yes. Yeah. So, they just know way more about basketball than I do. But personally, my personal feeling is no. But when I talk to guys that are so much smarter than I am about this stuff and they say yes, then I lean towards okay. And a guy that they really love, and I don't know if you remember this dude or not from the Olympics, is Gershon Yabusele, who plays for the 76ers right now. Okay. And he's from France. He was a star at the Olympics, and he's an undersized center, meaning he's only about 6'8" and change, but he plays the 5. And his contract's only $2 million, and he's on the Sixers, whose season is going nowhere. Yeah. So, but I don't blame you if you've never heard of Yabusele.
No.
The other guy they're talking about that I'd never heard of is Cody Martin from Charlotte. Oh,
yeah,
you know him?
Nevada.
Oh, see, you know more about him than I do.
The Mountain West. Him and his twin, Cody and Caleb. How could you not know him?
Holy shit. Well, talk to me about it, Rachel. I'm clueless.
Yeah. Now, I haven't followed him, obviously, since he's been in Charlotte, but they were a stud duo back in college. In Nevada was when I was in college. Like, they were great together. So,
Do you know his brother, his twin, is with him in Charlotte, too?
No, I didn't. I haven't followed them very closely, but I just remember we watched a lot of Nevada basketball back in the day because of those two.
Okay. Well, see.
Interesting.
All right.
If you had to bet your entire gas tank, are you saying they're going to make a move tomorrow or no?
Probably not. What they'll probably do, if they do anything, is pick up a player in the buyout market. The buyout market happens after the trade deadline passes. Some teams who were not able to trade somebody are just looking to save money because their season's going nowhere. And that's how the Nuggets acquired Reggie Jackson a couple of years ago. So it was like a few days after the trade deadline, Reggie Jackson got dumped, and the Nuggets just picked him up on the cheap. And he played for him for basically 2 years, and now he plays in Philadelphia. So I would say likely that's the only way they would go. And by the way, Yabusele and probably Cody Martin, for that matter, would not just be dumped by their teams. They likely would have to be acquired in some sort of trade. But a guy like PJ Tucker may be dumped by his team that could be picked up. I mean, stuff like that. Torrey Craig may be dumped, who's a Michael Malone favorite, but he's kind of long in the tooth. He might become available. It's stuff like that. And that doesn't really excite me all that much.
No, for anything to really excite me for any moves, it would have to be a household name. Otherwise, I'm going to be like, okay, they made some sort of move. Quick question.
By the way, I'm sorry. I read that Caleb Martin was on Charlotte. If he's not, perhaps I was just reading the wrong thing, so I apologize for that.
Is Jamal still going to be rocking the fro tonight?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Did you see him yesterday at the clinic?
At the clinic, he was regular hair.
Okay.
I did see him. Yeah, he walked by us, kind of sort of smiled, snarled.
Jamal-like.
He was. That's a good way to put it.
Jamal is a very quirky dude. He's got his moments where he's really happy and he's totally willing to talk to you. And then there's other times where he's like, I want absolutely nothing to do. I don't want to talk to you. He's very with himself, and to each their own, I guess.
Well, for the record, I would love the opportunity to have an in-depth conversation with Jamal Murray. I think it would be awesome. But he's a little tough to deal with, in the press conferences.
Yeah.
I think he's a really interesting guy. That being said, I do wonder if the Nuggets could do it all over again, if they would not have signed him to that big deal, which it took forever for them to get done with him in the offseason, if you remember.
Oh, I do. I remember. And then the contract didn't get signed, even though he was over in Paris for the Olympics. It took a while, even once he came back. It was interesting. Would you rather have dinner with Jamal Murray or Sean Payton?
Where are we having dinner?
Sushi Den.
Well, no, Jamal Murray. Sean Payton hates sushi.
Okay. A barbecue joint that I don't know of.
A barbecue joint, it would be sushi, would be Jamal.
Okay.
Because he's a little bit more, sophisticated from Toronto. He's got a little, there's something interesting there. Barbecue would be Sean Payton.
Okay.
I got your hero. Kay Adams is great today. She is awesome. Do you want to tell everybody how much you love Kay Adams?
I'm a big Kay Adams fan for a lot of the reasons of how she has made sports and just fun, right? I feel like a lot of times it's too do my tie up, sit down at the desk. She has no problem asking the questions that just everybody wants to know. And she did that exactly with Sean Payton, and her charisma and the way she attracts and does all of those things. Listen, I get it. She is a beautiful woman. She is fun. She's that girl, but she gets people to open up for her. So you can't hate on it.
She definitely flirt interviews, by the way. There's no doubt about it. She does little flirty things when she interviews.
Yeah, but I've seen her like on just random like off cameras, and she's the exact same way. Like I just saw her walking.
Yeah.
Somebody posted a story, and she like went up to somebody, and she's like, "Oh my god, my love, how are you?" And I'm like, I don't think I would like probably say that, just like hanging out, walking down, media row, but it is what it is. And she gets people to open up. Sean Payton opened up like no other. There is something to it. A lot of times it's frowned upon as being a woman in this industry. But I do think that we have a way of talking to just people as people that gets them to open up a little bit more. And I feel like that's a superpower I've just now unlocked. And I'm so excited for the future because of that.
I agree with you. And I think she's tremendous.
She's great.
And all right, do you want me to play the video of Sean Payton and the football stuff or the gossipy Cabo stuff?
There's so much. Let's do football first. We'll get into Cabo, and then the one that nobody's talking about that we have to talk about. So go ahead.
Okay, here's the football stuff where Kay Adams basically gets Sean Payton to spill his guts about, the Broncos game plan for the next year. It's a little bit long, but here we go.
Good rookie class.
In the culture, everything that you've done in such short time, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like, now I want you to, I love Cortland, great veteran, insane, amazing. I know you love him too. What are we looking to fall in love with here in the next couple of months? Are we going? Can I tell you what I think?
It's a fair question though, because we do the evaluation of our team.
Yeah.
And the purpose of that is then to establish what we call musts, needs, and wants.
Must, needs, wants. Okay.
So who are our musts?
Your must, you need a veteran wide receiver. That's what I think. I'd like to see you.
I would say we need a joker.
You need a Reggie Bush.
An interior, and a joker now can be a tight end or a running back that has exceptional. We were spoiled here.
Yeah.
When you think about it, all right, you had Reggie, you had Jimmy Graham, Jeremy Shockey, Darren Sproles, Alvin Kamara. Those are interior, either tight ends or running backs.
Jokers.
That they have to be elite receivers that play tight end or running back. And then you get the matchups, and we had quite a few of them here because you're getting too high defense and you have to work the inside. And so I think,
where does a veteran wide receiver go in which bucket?
I think a veteran wide receiver fits in a need,
Not
and
a
yet,
must-have.
man, I would say we're stronger there than some would think.
Okay.
A Devon Bailey, Troy Franklin. There's a number of receivers that we drafted a year ago. We'll look closely through the middle, inside linebacker, safety. There'll be a few other.
Okay, so it kind of goes from there. Why are you laughing?
Because Sean Payton just like spills exactly whatever he's thinking, which is so funny. But we also know Sean Payton can be very, very cryptic. And we're going to get into that when we get into the Cabo stuff.
Okay.
I do think he is telling the truth.
Oh,
and I know we're all on the whole, like, they need a wide receiver. They need a veteran wide receiver. Cortland Sutton proved he can be that guy this year. Correct? I know.
Maybe, but I hate to disagree with it because it's so clear that they're not going to go get T. Higgins or Chris Godwin now. I mean, so sure, I'll go with you on that.
Okay.
But yes,
proved he can be the number one guy.
Yes.
But, and I do think Marvin Mims, he talked about that in the interview as well. Marvin Mims stepped up exponentially throughout this season, right? He was really looked at as just a returner at the beginning of the year. Look at what he grew into. So what does this next season look like for him? Devon Bailey, huge fan of him. Throughout training camp, he was excellent. I was excited about it. Troy Franklin takes a little bit. Sean Payton said at the end of the year, you can't really evaluate any of the rookies until like 2-3 years in. And that's when you can really say, and the pass, the failed, whatever it's going to be. So Troy Franklin's still on my debate. But they don't have a running game. And they sure as hell don't have a tight end that can go out there and be that big guy. And this is a tight end league now, thanks to Travis Kelce, George Kittle, all of them. So I would agree that the need is greater at the running back position and the tight end position to be the joker than it is to get one of those top end receivers. Because if you can include one of those guys in the pass game, boom, you just opened up another spot that can allow the other guys to get open as well. So I do agree with Sean Payton on that. Now, the inside linebacker quote, it's interesting, right? Because we're all like, Alex Singleton, like he's going to come back. He's doing well in rehab from surgery. Sean Payton made it very clear when Javonte was coming back that it takes like 2 seasons to really see those guys be able to get back out there and be a top player. So yeah, maybe if you're saying, I want to go for the playoffs now, I want to go for the Super Bowl now, you are looking at the inside linebacker. Safety again. Yeah, I mean, it's a need for them. I do think that they had a good enough defense this year that it wasn't like oh my gosh, they're getting destroyed every single time. But for me personally, I look more offensively and say they need help there. It's been fun watching all these teams have a run game in the playoffs, and the Broncos just don't. So I would like to see them go more offense early on in the draft and perhaps in free agency than I would defensively. But I do think he's telling the truth of the wide receivers just, it's like that would be great if we could include it, but it's not a dire need to go out and get.
To me, free agency is like a one-night stand at a bar, and the bar is closing at 2 a.m., and you've got to make a decision, and you're probably going to regret it, but you hope you don't. It's like high impact. The draft is like a marriage. The draft is, we're going to romance you, and we're going to stay together forever, and don't get engaged on a Jumbotron, and we're committed to you. That's a marriage. That's long. Free agency is... what time is the bar
back
close?
And see my condo. We'll maybe get breakfast in the morning. Like, let's see what this is about.
And you just know whoever you pick up when free agency starts, you're going to overspend on. Everybody does. And then you get some bargains in free agency if you can wait, like you sober up, and then you make,
literally you at the end of the night, you're like, she's like, well, will you pick up my bar tab? And you look at it, it's like $600, and you're like, well, shit.
Yeah, because you think you might get lucky, and maybe you do and maybe you don't. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But you make the $600 bar tab.
Okay.
Like you pick it up and you say, I'll see you outside. And then you get outside and the Uber with her has already left. She already figured this out.
Then this leads us perfectly into the Cabo conversation. Okay. Are we talking McVay or are we talking quarterbacks in this clip? You tell me which one we got.
I've got, a little bit of both actually. And just to refresh everybody's memory, not too long ago, we saw this beautiful photo of the quarterbacks and Mike McGlinchey and his wife. Everybody looks absolutely spectacular. We spent kind of an absurd amount of time last week breaking this photo down.
Which also, I just realized McGlinchey totally got passed over by Sean.
Yeah, that's right. He did, actually.
Which is like, no, we were just there with the quarterbacks.
But who knew that Sean Payton was there too, as he explained to Kay Adams?
We have Jared Stidham,
of course,
Zach Wilson.
And they're all buddies.
And they all get along.
Yeah.
The wives get along. And so we were in Cabo a week ago, and McVay and his wife were there. We kind of have everyone over at the house. We had a McVay rule in Cabo. He couldn't talk to Bo Nix.
It makes sense. Separate rooms. No, talk to each other.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know what that means.
Because I think that's where he. That's
the Cabo thing. I know.
All right. And then we went golfing the next day, the quarterbacks. And as much as I love these guys as quarterbacks, they're awful golfers. I'm like, I don't know who we're beating as a team collectively.
Luckily.
Okay. Do you know the Cabo story?
What do you mean? Which Cabo story?
The Sean McVay hammered in Cabo story about quarterbacks.
No.
Okay. This is what Sean Payton was referring to. The Rams were eliminated from the playoffs with Jared Goff.
Yep.
Sean McVay is in Cabo, 3:00 in the morning, hammered out of his brains, calls Josh Kroenke. Don't forget, the Kroenke family owns the Rams.
Yeah.
And he had run into Matthew Stafford in Cabo. So after spending the night getting liquored up with Matthew Stafford, he calls Josh Kroenke, as the story goes, and say, we got to do a deal and get Matthew Stafford. And that is the story. And the Rams had done well with Jared Goff. They were a playoff team.
Yeah.
They had gone to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. And it was getting liquored up with Stafford in Cabo that led to the trade that eventually saw Stafford come from the Lions to the Rams and Goff go to the Lions. So when Payton was saying, I'm keeping him away from Nix, that's what he's talking about.
Oh my gosh. No, I've never heard that story.
Yeah, look it
love
up.
that story.
It's a great story. Look up, Sean McVay, Cabo, Matthew Stafford, 3:00 in the morning, hammered Josh Kroenke. It'll pop up. I mean, that's a long search thing.
Honestly, iconic. And all this made me want to do is go to Cabo 2 weeks after the Broncos get eliminated from the playoffs next year and see what's going to go on. Just watch from afar with my binoculars and see them all hanging out at the pool club being like, I wonder what's happening over there. Yeah. But there is no way. I'm putting my tinfoil hat on right now. There is no way it is a coincidence that Cooper Kupp is getting traded after Sean Payton and Sean McVay were hanging out in Cabo, sitting daiquiris or margaritas, whatever they were doing. There's no way it's a coincidence.
Vegas odds have the Broncos, I think, as the favorite to land Cooper Kupp in a trade. Hold on. Let me look that up real quick.
No way it's a coincidence.
Odds, Broncos. Let me see here.
Oh, Nick's having some guac is like, Cooper seems like a great guy, Sean. I think that it would work well. And Sean's like, you're right. I wonder what we should talk to McVay about. I'll just eat salsa with queso and some guac.
So we did not know that Sean Payton was hanging out with the quarterbacks there. Now we know because he blabbed that to he's a plus 600. Cooper Kupp is plus 600. And that is tied with the Commanders, Patriots, and Chargers. So that those are the teams. Oh, okay. And so yeah, here's an article that Cooper Kupp with the Broncos makes a lot of sense. So we'll see if that happens.
What would you trade?
The Broncos have a solid in the extras.
You know what? Maybe this is why Sean's like, we don't really need a wide receiver. I already know we're gonna get one.
Right. Correct.
I don't go hunt for anybody else. I'm getting Cooper Kupp. What are you guys talking about?
Well, I mean, who knew that he was hanging out with Sean McVay getting liquored up there in Cabo? And then
the wives never posted Sean, like nothing. I thought it was just a boys' trip. Also, how many times have you ever gone on a Cabo trip with your boss?
I've never been to Cabo, period. Never mind like a vacation with my boss. No.
I can only think of one boss that I would probably go to Cabo with.
If my boss felt about me the way Sean Payton feels about Bo Nix, I'd go everywhere with him. I'd be comfortable no matter what the scenario would be.
Love at first sight. Also, did you hear the story from Sean about him dumping out Bo Nix's backpack?
I did not. I don't have that. Tell me that story. I do not have that.
Oh my gosh. So when they were having their meetings, right? Bo's answering all the questions correctly, pre-draft process. And Sean goes, I'm getting bored. So I tell him to empty his backpack. He's pulling out like his turf shoes, his other shoes, some like wrist wrap, like that kind of stuff. And Sean goes, I just took the backpack, flipped it over and saw what was coming out, expecting like candy or, some Zin, something like that.
Right.
Nothing. And he was like, this is our guy. Oh, because he dumped the backpack.
You can't do that in a regular job interview. You can't.
No.
Can you imagine?
Are you kidding me?
We're in a suit.
You probably do that if you're Sean Payton.
Hey, Rachel, give me your purse. Let's see
my purse.
Let's see what's in
my purse.
Should we do that right now? Do you want to dump your purse out right now and see what's in there?
I've got some gloves. This is one of my purses. This is like my belt bag. I have a receipt.
Yeah. Okay. For what?
I don't know, but it was for $10.82. It says your receipt. Thank you.
Okay. You have a $10 receipt and you have no idea what it's for.
Not a clue.
Okay.
I have an IKEA thing from when we were filling out some stuff.
You are quickly proving to be the most boring person on earth with this little exercise.
I have a Klondike Gold Rush National Park from Skagway, Alaska stamp.
Well, that proves you were in Alaska.
I have. Let's see what else. I have a pen.
Okay.
I have a granola bar. And
and
I have a fake engagement ring. There you go.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, because when we went to Cabo, I didn't want to wear my real one out, so I got a fake one off of Amazon. And sometimes I do wear this. Like if I'm going downtown, I will not wear my real one, and I'll just wear a fake one.
Get the fuck out of here! That is awesome. How common of a move is that?
I think pretty common nowadays, just because you never know.
That's a good girl hack move right there. I've never heard that before. That is awesome.
So yeah, there you go, everyone.
You bought a fake engagement. So why is it important for you to wear any ring? Why not just leave the ring off? You have a wedding band. Why even bother with the ring?
Men talk to you, and you don't want men to talk to you.
So they would talk to you even if you had a wedding, so they wouldn't know the difference. Men are idiots. Is that right? It's either you got the ring or you don't get the ring.
Correct.
That is fascinating.
I was like, man, this is a boring what's in your bag. Nope, there we go.
That is an unbelievable story. I had no idea that was even a thing.
Yeah.
That's not boring at all.
Usually when I go to Avs and Nuggets games, like I just put on the fake one because I'm like, I won't wear my real one.
Well, I mean, it begs the question, shouldn't you wear the fake one kind of all the time and only put on the real one for like date night or you're going out or dressing up? I mean, like, why wear the real one at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. I like my real one a little bit better.
No, of course you do. I know. I understand. Of course you like it.
I get your point, though. Trust me, I get it.
But you're literally afraid because it's probably costs a couple bucks. I mean, it's that sort of thing.
So yeah, that's what I got. It's hysterical. Actually.
That is great. The fake engagement ring. I had never heard of that before.
Yeah.
That is freaking awesome.
I'd still talk to her. Thank you. You can always talk to me. I will gladly say hi to absolutely anybody.
Oh my God.
I love talking with you guys.
Oh, that's too funny. All right. I do have to go. We might have to cut this just a pinch short because I do have to go.
Okay, wait. We talk about the one thing with Sean Payton that nobody's talking about.
Go for it.
Sean Payton goes out to dinner last night in New Orleans and is like, "Hey, that's the Chiefs receivers room. Oh, I'll just buy him dinner."
I did not hear that story. What's the story?
Are you kidding?
I did not get it. No, tell me.
Yeah, Sean Payton was out at dinner last night. Noticed the Chiefs were all out there having dinner.
Okay.
They obviously had practice yesterday. So he's like, goes over, starts chit-chatting. And he's like, when the Saints were in Miami for the Super Bowl, he gave Drew Brees his credit card and said, buy everybody dinner.
Okay.
It was a $10,000 dinner, $20,000 dinner. Okay. Yeah, I don't exactly remember. But it was interesting because he just gave Drew the credit card and he said, like, I think it was $20,000. I don't remember exactly. Okay. One way or another, he's out there last night, sees the Chiefs receivers and is like, he knows one of the guys. And he's like, yeah, I'll just give him my credit card and essentially charged it to his credit card. Yeah. And bought the Chiefs receivers dinner last night. He said it was like $1,900, including his dinner.
It's not too bad.
But like, how weird.
That is a crazy power move right there. That is a
totally agree.
That, you know what? I did not hear that story. I kind of love it. Like that is an alpha dog sort of move right there. That's almost it's almost a little insulting because the bill's not like that much for those guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's kind of like I'm going to assert my dominance. We beat you 38-0. Andy Reid was actually asked about that and said he didn't really mind losing, but the way they lost did bother him. He did admit that. So I kind of like that move, Rachel. What do you think?
I was just like, Sean, what are we doing here? Like, again, he was just like, I don't remember which guy it was. And he was like, I know him pretty well. So I just was like, yep, I'll buy it. Again, $1,900. And it's not a lot of money for him.
I kind of like Sean Payton being a badass. Like, hey, whatever. I'll tell everybody.
So crazy.
I'll tell everybody our draft strategy. Who gives a shit? Just come and stop me. Don't forget he said about running the score up. You don't like it, play better. Said that during the season.
Which is true.
They had no problems running it up on the Chiefs when they could against the Chiefs JV team. He's
also feeling himself though, because he is literally the king of New Orleans.
He is the king of New Orleans. Yeah, in that Kay Adams interview, there's a little bit of a we and us, and like that's definitely not out of him. And rightfully so. He was the coach when they won their only Super Bowl.
Yep.
I'm
lives there. Sure, has a house.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Does that bother you?
No,
right? Like,
no.
Okay, well, here's the thing though. What if Sean wins a Super Bowl here?
Yeah.
And he still will consider New Orleans as like it for him. right? It's like Manning and the Colts. Like Manning here, like he loves Broncos. He bleeds orange and blue. Will it bother you if it's the like opposite?
No, because I think Sean Payton's existence here in Colorado is very transactional. I think he's a veteran hired gun. He was their third choice for head coach. He doesn't really have a lot of Colorado roots. He was hired to do a job. And when he's done doing that job, he'll go back into broadcasting or whatever he wants to do. No, that won't bother me whatsoever. And I love New Orleans. New Orleans is one of my favorite cities in America. It has problems like a lot of big cities do, but the French Quarter and New Orleans, and not even just the French Quarter, but like Jackson Square, the history of the Mississippi River, the art, the music, some of the naughtiness and everything else. And it brings back, I've been to New Orleans for the Super Bowl like 3 times. So it brings back, it was my first Super Bowl I ever went to when I was in my 20s. I was there when the lights went out with the Niners and the Ravens. And I was there. I lost my cell phone in a bathroom because I was so hammered on the French Quarter, and I was playing a washboard and left my phone to get charged up and got stolen.
Wait, I have a question. 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
When you were in Nashville covering the Avs, were you drinking that night when you stayed out till like 2 a.m. and you were just all around the bars?
Not real. I mean,
I drink here and there.
Yeah. Because that night, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was so funny.
It was how many bars can I get to with bands playing that would be interesting along the way? So, I mean, like, and I'm not a big beer guy. If I have a beer, I get pretty filled up with like a beer and a half.
Yeah.
So I can't just keep drinking beers.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you are with that kind of stuff. So, and I'm not like a big drinker anyways. I'm kind of like, glass of wine at dinner sort of guy, or maybe 2, perhaps 3. We'll see how the night goes. But so I can't tell you the last time I was like, out of my brain, seeing sideways, it's, I just don't get like that. I enjoy a drink here and there, but I'm never like completely out of control. I've definitely like had enough drinks where I shouldn't drive, that sort of thing. I'm not a teetotaler, but that particular night in Nashville, it was just so fun, Rachel, to just like, I mean, we're talking about basically Broadway in Nashville, about a mile stretch, maybe not even. But every bar has 4 floors, and the bars are all connected to each other, and they're on each side of the street. And on every single floor of every single bar, there's a live band. I mean, it's awesome. Have you ever been there? Have you ever done that?
I went to Nashville when I was 1 month away from being 21. And
was that a problem or not?
I mean, definitely like a bummer because the person we were there with was turning 21. And so I was like, this kind of sucks because I'm not 21 and I didn't have the fake ID, the whole thing.
How careful were they checking IDs?
I mean, they check IDs at every door.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure a lot of underage people try and go to Nashville.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
well, that's probably true. They probably don't need underage people to be drinking there for their butt.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. So, yeah. Also, I saw this comment. All we need is Russell Wilson to sign with the Raiders.
Might happen. Who knows? There's a story that's out today about how Arthur Smith, his offense coordinator, couldn't stand coaching Russell Wilson today because Russ is Russ. And that story comes out, obviously, because Russell Wilson's people put it out there because Russ is Russ.
Also, I love that Sean Payton again brought up quarterbacks that tend to get sacked all the time. Well, they don't do well in the NFL. And I'm like, well, that's a shot.
Sean Payton hates Russell Wilson. He might dislike him as a person, too. It might not just be just quarterback. I mean, it might be personal. It may be.
All the lies we got told straight to our face. No, Russ and I are good. Good.
All right, Rach, I got to get to the Nuggles today.
Nuggets going to win tonight?
I think they're going to win by 30. The only reason the Pelicans were in the game at all on Monday night was because Trey Murphy went nuts. He hit 5 threes in the third quarter and had 24 points in the third quarter. And he scored 41. Yeah. And CJ McCollum had 30, so he contributed. But I mean, seriously, it was kind of ridiculous. So yeah, if you stop Trey Murphy, you're probably going to win by a bunch. And that's what I think they're going to do tonight.
And I think Aaron Gordon's a go tonight, which is obviously going to be massive for them.
Well, that's good news too. And it's listen, the Nuggets schedule is not that difficult. Orlando's here tomorrow night. KCP comes back. That's kind of cool.
I know.
They go to Phoenix over the weekend, but look, I mean, Phoenix is looking to get rid of Kevin Durant. They're kind of a mess. And then they come back home and they've got a home game with Portland, and they're terrible. True. So this should set up for a nice little run for the Nuggies.
Also, I saw somebody that said, cheers to the Altitude Comcast garbage ending.
Yeah.
Could not agree more. If you're watching on Comcast, you get to watch the Nugs tonight.
Yep, no doubt about it. And this move, I've got a little inside stuff on this one, I guess. This one came because there were two guys in particular, Steve Smith and Kevin Demoff, who took over from past management. Yeah. And in 7 months, they got something done that couldn't happen in 5 years. And I know Steve and Kevin personally. They're both great guys. Yeah. And I'm proud to be part of this company. Kevin, who's the head honcho of everything and used to run the Rams, by the way. Yeah. He was apologetic to the fans out there that they couldn't get this done. He admitted they had made mistakes, apologized. And in all honesty, after somebody apologizes, they correct something. If you still hold a beef against somebody like that, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like, if there are people out there that are still angry even today about it, you're angry at the wrong people, because new people came in, they heard, they listened, and they made a significant change. And I think that's awesome.
They made big moves. They made it happen. All we can do is look forward to the future, and hopefully the Avs and Nugs can make a deep playoff run and bring a championship back to Denver, because we've been so lucky here. Let's continue the luck.
By the way, just let me say, I love your look tonight. It is definitely like a different Rachel look, but I think it's pretty badass the way you look. So it's
massive King Brown fan. Love it. Got some necklaces going. Hair's like that.
You look like a badass, Rach. You look like you.
Yes, hey, thank you.
Like you're gonna put a boot up somebody's ass. You know, not have any apologies.
That's any day of the week. Okay, you cross me wrong, I will put you back in your place. Any day of the week.
And with that, we'll say. Oh, wait, hold on. We gotta say goodnight. Hold on, we got my thing.
3,
2, 1.
Good night.
Good night. Cocktail hour.
Bye, everybody. Cheers. Bye.